Mark Waid and Mahmoud Asrar pit father against son as Batman is ruthlessly attacked by Robin and his friends, leaving the Dark Knight to piece together the mystery behind his son's sudden change of heart. Mark Waid begins his new Batman vs. Robin series by perfectly building off what Joshua Williamson has done recently with both Batman and Robin, while also tying it into his own storylines seen in World's Finest, making for one hell of an opening issue filled with action, intrigue, and some really great deep cannon pulls. The big part of the issue is that Waid is the one who seemingly gets to bring Alfred back from the dead after many years of him actually being dead, folding him back into the story really well, but not stopping the almost breakneck speed at which this issue moves to answer any questions besides, yeah, this is indeed the real deal Alfred. Damian and Bruce's words with each other about Bruce's treatment of his Robins and his family at large does indeed hold some weight, and Damian does have a point about him using them as tools in his war against crime, and it's a neat little bit of characterization that Chip Zdarsky is also examining over in the Batman ongoing right now with the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh and Failsafe. So it's quite neat that Waid was able to pull together all of these different strands and make a coherent story out of it. Now, I mentioned Waid ties this also back into World's Finest, and he certainly does, as it's revealed the Devil Nezza is back, something we saw Damian make happen at the end of Shadow War, and now he's set his sights on the magical world of the DCU and is trying to kill all of the magical users. Again, more questions than answers are really given as to why a lot of this is happening, but I trust Waid to provide some satisfying answers in time and as the series progresses. Mahmoud Asrar paints Robin's assault on Batman with fantastic kinetic tension, ramping up those first few pages until it all explodes into the action with bright blues and dark blacks of the Batcave under assault. There was also a brutality to the artwork as well, such as Zatanna's grisly fate being depicted fully on page, something which legitimately shocked me when flicking over the page, something which very rarely happens in comics these days. Batman vs. Robin issue 1 was a very good first issue, hitting the ground running and building off what Waid, Joshua Williamson, and even Chip Zdarsky have done in the recent past with the Bat family, making for a fun, tension-filled issue with lots of twists and turns. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10. Batman vs. Robin issue 1 sees Damian Wayne's history as Robin quickly recounted, from him teaming up with his father, Batman, to joining his mother Talia al Ghul and her League of Assassins before Alfred Pennyworth died and young Robin struck out on his own. In the present, a hooded man approaches Wayne Manor as Bruce wanders the empty manor, knowing it's not really home anymore, and moving into Gotham was a good choice since operating out of a brownstone accelerates Batman's response time. He does, however, know that it means leaving some memories behind, and he wonders if nostalgia drew him to the manor tonight, but knows something stronger actually brought him there. Bruce considers leaving when a pounding at the door stirs him from his mind, and Bruce is curious to find out who is there during the thunderstorm, and upon opening the door, he discovers it's Alfred. The old butler wanders in as Bruce thinks that it could be a myriad of his enemies playing tricks on him, telling whomever the man is that this is in poor taste. Alfred, however, assures Bruce that he's not dead, and Damian is in terrible danger since Bane and the man pretending to be Thomas Wayne have captured him. Bruce knows that was the final thing Alfred would have known, and no imposter would have known that information. Bruce tells him to calm down since those events happened months and months ago, but Bane killed him and Bruce had Alfred cremated, so how could he possibly reappear out of nowhere? Alfred doesn't remember, only feeling a blinding pain, and then he awoke outside the manor. He notes how Bruce looks skeptical at his appearance, which is a good sign since that's how he knows he's not hallucinating. He thinks an examination on him is in order, so Bruce takes him into the parlor for some oolong tea and a long chat. Bruce puts him through a series of questions, and over the next hour, Alfred answers every single one of them correctly, even suggesting they go down to the cave, knowing exactly where the entrance is and how to set the clock to the right time, the time of Bruce's parents' death. Bruce hopes that this is real, but is still uneasy as they descend into the cave, and the pull that brought him there gets stronger and stronger. Bruce begins to realize that it's not nostalgia that brought him to the manor, and he knows it's something he's dealt with many times before: magic. In the cave, he finds Damian waiting for him along with Tim Hunter and Jakeem Thunder. Bruce quietly tells Alfred to hide since Damian has not seen him yet as he confronts his son, not approving that he brought friends over. Damian orders Hunter to drop the giant penny on Bruce, who barely manages to dodge the falling debris and the penny. Damian demands that Jakeem and Tim bring Bruce to him as Bruce suits up in the rubble. telling Damian that he gives the orders in the cave, not Robin, since this is still his home. Batman can tell this is really his son, but he's somehow turned now and he needs to know why and by whom. Batman throws a batarang snare at Robin, but he knew he would do that, knowing that it's always his opening gambit as he dodges it, while Tim fires a lightning bolt from his magical screwdriver at Batman. Batman decides to deal with the future greatest sorcerer in the world first, disappearing on the boy and ambushing him from behind, snapping his screwdriver and knocking him out. Robin tells Batman that this is a declaration of war and he's tired of waiting for Bruce to leave his mantle to its rightful owner, knowing it's not Grayson or Todd or Drake, it's him. Jakeem sends the genie after Batman, bringing the T-Rex to life and having it try and stomp on him. Batman tries to get through to his son since he's putting the other boys in danger, but Damian knows that that's never been a concern for Bruce before, and doing this is like his hobby since he adopts innocent children and drafts them into his secret world of shadows and violence, wondering what kind of person does that to children. Bruce says that someone who honors their need for justice does that, telling his son that they both know how this will end. Damian knows his father won't do anything serious to stop him, wanting to hurry it all along since his mother has her own sins to pay for. Bruce quickly takes Jakeem down with an explosive, knowing that both him and Tim weren't responsible for their actions, but he had to take them down quickly and effectively. Suddenly, one of the Robin suits comes to life and attacks Bruce as Damian tells him that he's grown to hate his father just like how he hates Damian, thinking that it's because he has Al Ghul blood in his veins and blames the boy for Alfred's death. Alfred reveals himself to Damian, telling him that he doesn't need to blame him at all, begging Damian to come to his senses as some Batsuits come to life and beat up Batman as well. Alfred tells Damian that whatever he did to draw his father into it, it also brought him there as well. Damian thinks that it's a miracle, dreaming every night that Alfred will be brought back to life. Bruce burns the Batsuits with fire as Damian unsheaths some blades, thinking Alfred is just a ploy against his father and not real. Batman saves Alfred from being killed by Damian again, racing down a cavern, noting how all of the exits are blocked so they need to find a way out. Damian gives chase with Tim, who lights up the entire cave with his lightning so Batman cannot hide in the shadows. Robin and Tim pursue Batman and Alfred, who become trapped on a sheer cliff as Damian thought that he could get past their disagreements and be the son Batman wanted, but then he found something from Batman's own past that opened his eyes. Damian pulls out a gun, knowing that it is a fitting weapon to kill Batman with since the Batman's life will end as it begun, only wishing that Bruce was wearing some pearls. Damian shoots Batman twice, causing him and Alfred to fall from the cliff, but Batman manages to catch himself on some ladder rungs that were hidden in the cliff face. Later, as the Batboat speeds out of the cave with Alfred and Batman aboard, Alfred looks over Bruce, finding that he survived the gunshots only by millimeters. Bruce says that last week he added a special fabric to his cape that made it stronger than Kevlar, and it helped slow Damian's enhanced bullets enough. Bruce wants to get Alfred to safety, not wanting to put him at risk again, but Alfred screams that it doesn't matter since Damian is family as well and they need to help him. After a moment, Bruce hugs his father figure, telling him that he has missed him dearly and they will rescue Damian from whatever has taken him. Damian returns with Jakeem and Tim to the Tower of Fate, told by someone that Batman still lives, so he failed in his mission. Damian says that working with children didn't help, so the voice asks if he would prefer to use some of the trinkets and artifacts instead, offering up a huge selection of dangerous items for Damian to use. The voice says that it will get revenge on magic users and its only wish is for Damian to attain his destined birthright as Damian grabs the Eclipso diamond. Bruce meanwhile finds that they have barely any gadgets or items to use in their battle against Damian, but he did manage to grab a magical key from the cave that Zatanna gave him, which will open a door directly to her home. Batman opens a door to Zatanna's home, wanting to seek her help thanks to the magic at work. As they enter her home, they discover that Zatanna has been hung from a noose in her room, but is still alive somehow. Batman finds that he can't touch her thanks to a magical force field around her, but Zatanna tells him that she was hung with Schrodinger's noose and is both alive and dead for now since the one punishing them wants them to suffer. Batman learns that the rest of the Justice League Dark were attacked as well and have all been given some type of punishment, attacked by a very powerful magic that they could not combat. Zatanna knows that this is all thanks to Damian, who has managed to somehow poison magic itself, and those who wield it are paying the price for it. She tells Batman Batman to find out how Robin could do this before they all perish, telling Batman to use the key she gave him to take him to a place that keeps all secrets, and it's there he will learn what has become of Damian Wayne. Damian meanwhile considers all of the trinkets as just playthings, and he requires greater resources if he is to take down Batman, and the being owes him that much. The being is revealed to be the devil Nezza, whom Damian knows would never have met Mother Soul if it wasn't for him, so he needs to grant him what he needs.